Hello, we begin with the most important chapter of climate of India, and we'll be doing this in about 4 parts. Climate is important because it also has a direct correlation with your map marking. Okay, how the monsoon winds blow towards the Indian subcontinent, all that is part of this particular chapter. So this chapter has a direct connection, as I said, with the map marking. तो इस पर आपको ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. Okay, so let's start with the basics as far as the climate chapter is concerned, which is basically chapter number 1 in your theory part. Now, why is climate study so important? इस पर आपको ध्यान देने की जरूरत है because it is not just about a particular chapter. Okay, इसको आप सिर्फ एक chapter के रूप में मत देखिए. Don't look at it just as part of your syllabus. But in order to understand why certain weather patterns take place, why certain climatic conditions take place, why does it rain so much in a particular area and why is another area completely drought prone? So this particular chapter gives you a sense, as does most of geography, it gives you a sense of what India is like and why India is the way it is. Why is India's climate not like, say, the climate of Britain? Why is India's climate not like that of countries in South America, right? That's why this is important. And if this picture kind of conveys to you, in the same country, India, different states have this kind of a climate. Some states have this kind of a climate. So in this chapter, basically यही समझने की कोशिश करेंगे कि क्यों ऐसा होता है. Okay, so just sit back and relax and try to understand our country. मौसम की जानकारी देंगे, मौसम के बारे में बताएंगे. And weather and climate is something which everyone talks about. It concerns each one of us. Oh, it was raining, that's why I could not attend the class. It was raining, that's why my internet connection was down, right? It is very hot, so I am feeling very thirsty. I need something to energize myself. Everything has a direct connection with what the climate is in your city, in your state, at any given point of time, right? So कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये हमारे साथ एक direct connection बनाता है. Let's understand the basics first, जो काफी confusion होता है. Weather and climate. I hope this is clear. This is in a bit of a pink color, which is not very bright. Okay. Now, what is the difference between weather and climate? Okay. इसमें अंतर है. दोनों, they are not synonyms exactly. Okay. Now, the difference between weather and climate is a measure of time. Right? Weather is about short-term condition of the atmosphere. आज का मौसम कैसा होगा? गुरुवार का मौसम कैसा होगा? शुक्रवार का मौसम कैसा होगा? How will be the weather over the weekend? We don't say how will be the climate over the weekend. Have you ever heard that? It is weather report. It is not climate report. है ना? But climate is the average daily weather for an extended period of time at a particular location. Extended period of time being the key phrase. Okay, so अगर आपसे प्रश्न पूछा जाए, mention the difference between weather and climate, this is what you need to put it. I have put it as a question and answer in your notes. So लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. You know that. वहां से short notes बाद में बना लेना. Okay, so weather is about short-term conditions of the atmosphere, whereas climate is about the average daily weather over an extended period of time at a particular location. चेन्नई में ऐसा है, चंडीगढ़ में ऐसा है, जबलपुर में ऐसा है, जमशेदपुर में ऐसा है, right? That is what is the difference between climate and weather. Now, the question arises, what kind of climate does India have? And that's what our chapter essentially will focus on. India's climate essentially is a tropical monsoon kind of climate. That's what. So if you get a 1-mark question on what kind of climate, it is a tropical monsoon kind of climate, which is characterized by high temperatures and dry winters, right? Now, that's the main features as far as this tropical monsoon climate is concerned, and it is influenced largely by the monsoon winds which blow both from the Arabian Sea as well as the Bay of Bengal. Okay, we'll read about the Arabian Sea branch and the Bay of Bengal branch in great detail, and that's what is a dominant feature as far as Indian climate is concerned. The other major factor which influences the climate of India is the presence of the Himalayas, right? आप पूछेंगे और आपसे प्रश्न पूछा भी जा सकता है एग्जामिनेशन में that what is the importance of climate and of the Himalayas and how does that influence the climate of India, right? It is a huge thing, you know, Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, K2, Karakoram range, everything, right? It's like a big wall which is there on the border of India, virtually speaking, right? What it does is to these big mountains, the Himalayan effect, what it does is to protect North India. And students in North Indian states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Himachal would understand this probably a little better than those in South India or East India, that it protects North India, it protects your states from the cold winds of Central Asia, right? Like Siberia, like Mongolia, जहाँ पर काफी ठंड पड़ती है, बर्फ पड़ती है, लेकिन because of the presence of the Himalayas, those cold winds, this acts like a barrier and it does not allow the cold winds to come from that side into India, right? So this area remains relatively less cold than what it is in Siberia and in Mongolia kind of countries. Understood? With the help of pictures, you will be able to visualize what is the importance of these Himalayan peaks, right? And therefore it gives India a continental kind of climate, okay? And this is the reason for land winds, dryness of air and large what is called diurnal range of temperature. Diurnal range of temperature का मतलब क्या है? It is the difference between the maximum and the minimum temperature of the same day, okay? So the difference is quite significant, right? The other question, the other major factor, तो ये तो हो गया monsoon winds, Himalayan, and then there is the influence of the seas. This is in Kanyakumari. This is the Vivekananda statue where Swami Vivekananda went and sat, and this is known as the Vivekananda Memorial. For those of you who are not familiar with Kanyakumari, this is the Tiruvallur, who was a very significant and a huge name in Tamil poetry. Tiruvallur's statue again at Kanyakumari. So Kanyakumari is the end. We keep saying, no, Kashmir se Kanyakumari tak. So this is the last point as far as the Indian land is concerned, land mass is concerned. In South India, it's in the state of Tamil Nadu, not Kerala, though it's easy. I mean, it's very close to Thiruvananthapuram. Now, how does the Indian Ocean influence the climate of India? Okay, these are all questions, so I'm doing it question and answer wise so that आपको समझ जाए, तो फिर आप notes पढ़ेंगे तो आपको लिखने में आसानी होगी. You don't have to rote learn anything. By giving it a hot monsoon climate which is very tropical in nature, because you know the areas which are along the coast, Visakhapatnam, Chennai, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Mumbai, Goa, Mangaluru, all these kind of cities and towns have a very tropical kind of climate as a result of the influence of the monsoon. It does not get very warm, it does not get very cold, though it also gets very humid. Now the climatic conditions of states in North India like Uttar Pradesh, like Bihar is very different from those in South India like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, even though all the states in India in general have a similar monsoon type of climate, because monsoon is a major influencing factor. लेकिन केरला का जिस तरह का क्लाइमेट है और बिहार का जिस तरह का क्लाइमेट है उसमें काफी अंतर रहेगा. जिस तरह का range of temperature that you find in the summers and the winters in say Patna is very different from the range of temperature that you find in Kochi or in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala in both summer and winter. हालांकि both the cities, because they are part of the same country, are known to be influenced by the have a tropical monsoon climate largely. The difference is in the degree of wetness and dryness because of the monsoon, rainfall. There is a difference in temperature, there is a difference in the rhythm of the seasons, there is a difference in the pattern of the winds. Okay, and as we go more in detail, you will understand all the major differences. And these regional variations, keyword, regional variations are the subtypes of the monsoon climate. India has basically a tropical monsoon climate, largely speaking. लेकिन उस tropical monsoon climate में भी, depending on where you are, depending on these factors like the Himalayas in the north and the ocean in the south and the eastern part, उसकी वजह से that there is a difference even within the regional, even within the monsoon climate में there are these regional subtypes depending on the location. समझ में आ गया अभी तक? Okay, let's move forward. Basically on the maps you find the horizontal distribution of temperature. Those are known as isotherms. Now let's look at temperature variations के different examples, and these examples are very interesting and they'll give you an idea about what a varied kind of climate India has because of its different kind of temperatures. Now you see in the hot summer, this is the scene that you see in most of India. Okay, this is near the sea and you can see the people playing. So the atmosphere, though it's a very clear sky, it won't be as hot as this place because of the presence of the sea. Then you have North India like this, and then you have the desert area like this. Let me tell you ek ke baad. Now Kerala has tropical climate, right, with warm and moist air. Moist matlab moisture is there, humidity, पसीना ज़्यादा आता है. Okay, whereas Punjab has a more continental type of climate. आप प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड कर लीजिए और सबको एक टेबल में बना लीजिए ताकि आपको मालूम पड़े कि कौन सा टर्म, which term is to be associated with which city and state. So Punjab or Haryana will have a continental type of climate, which means severe heat in the summers, right, and very cold in the winters. Halaki you don't have snowfall in Punjab or Haryana, definitely not of this extent. This is a photograph from Kargil, right, which is in, I mean, the once combined state of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, of course, it's all bifurcated or trifurcated rather. So you will have this kind of snowfall which happens in Kashmir, right? So you will have this kind of hot season in Punjab, but Kerala will have this kind of a more of a warm and humid kind of climate. The temperature in Kerala in December, when it is extremely cold in North Indian states, students from North India, please note, when it is goes up down to say 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees in winters, बहुत कड़ाके की सर्दी पड़ती है. At the same time, when you have Kargil kind of places recording even minus 40 degrees. Delhi mein, I know when I used to grow up, when I was a student, it used to go down to 4 degrees in the month of end December and early January, right? But Kerala, which is in the southernmost tip, will have a temperature of about 20 to 22 degrees, right? So it's comparatively nice weather. You don't need to wear warm clothing in Kerala. Kerala, Tamil Nadu vagara mein, you don't need to really take out sweaters. Whereas you know the amount of warm clothing you need to wear if you are in any of the North Indian states. The difference between the day and night temperature in say Andaman and Nicobar Islands, which is not part of the main land, is about 7 to 8 degrees. But in the Thar desert area of Rajasthan, the difference between day temperature and night temperature could be almost 25 to 30 degrees. The nights will be very cold, the day will be very hot. Okay, so that's the difference in the temperature is very high, whereas in Andamans or in Kerala, the difference is very minimal. The annual range of temperature along the Malabar coast, that is along the Kerala coast, is just about 3 degrees, whereas inside it will be almost 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. So the annual range is the difference between the hottest and the coldest months. Okay, and Barmer in Rajasthan, again you're talking about Rajasthan, records temperature of about 48 to 50 degrees in the month of June, which is really the hottest month in most parts of North India. At the same time, it will be about 22 degrees in Gulmarg in Kashmir. Not the kind of winter that you find there, which is why during the summers, people leave hot places like Delhi, Chandigarh, Rajasthan, etc. and go to hill stations like Gulmarg or Srinagar, so that वहाँ पर इतनी भी सर्दी ना पड़े, but 22 degrees में you can actually enjoy the hill station. It will be nice at that point in time. Okay, so this is as far as the hot, the heat and the temperatures are concerned. Let's now talk about the rainfall. Rainfall, some beautiful photographs of the rainfall, the Indian monsoon. Cherrapunji you would have heard. Okay, this is a place in Meghalaya which is known as the wettest place. In fact, there is a board there, Cherrapunji. This is a photograph which we went in 2008. Cherrapunji, the rainiest place on planet Earth, a land of breathtaking beauty and exotic people. Cherrapunji is locally known as Sora, and they have put the annual rainfall, average annual rainfall, etc. Okay. Though now it is not Cherrapunji which is considered to be the wettest place, it is Mausairam, okay, which is also in the Khasi hills of Meghalaya, pretty close to Cherrapunji, which is known as the wettest place. It receives about 1100 centimeter rainfall in a year annually. But there is Jaisalmer in Rajasthan which receives just about 9 centimeter. So you see Meghalaya, which is on the northeastern part of the country, getting this kind of rainfall, whereas you have Rajasthan which is getting just 9 centimeter. Kahan 9 centimeter, kahan 1100 centimeter. So you see, within the same country, which is all having the same tropical monsoon climate, there are these kind of huge regional variations. In regional variations को समझना है और क्यों होते हैं ये भी समझना है. Okay, that's what this chapter is all about. The rainfall in Tura in Meghalaya is equal to the rainfall in Jaisalmer for 10 years. Okay, these are all interesting facts. The Coromandel coast, which is the Tamil Nadu coast, Malabar coast is the Kerala coast, Coromandel coast is the Tamil Nadu coast, is dry in July and August जब बाकी states में काफी बारिश होती है. And this is the time when Odisha and the Gangetic plains, that is Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, receive very heavy rainfall. And most parts of India receive rainfall in June, September, but Tamil Nadu coast gets rain only after October, November, December essentially is when the rainfall happens. उसके बारे में भी हम पढ़ेंगे. Why does Tamil Nadu get rain in November, December and not in June, July, August? Okay, this is an important question even from the examination point of view. Now let's look at the main factors. अभी तक का पूरा background I hope you have understood, and I hope you are enjoying and appreciating also. That's important. Now let's look at in detail the factors which affect the climate of India. Okay, now the factors which affect the climate of India. Now this is like peak summer, this is during monsoon. I love using photographs. Factors which affect the climate of India. The first of course is the Himalayas, जिसके बारे में मैंने बात किया. It acts as a climatic barrier. It prevents the cold Siberian winds from entering India, because if they did, then India would pretty much become like a cold desert. Then you would have, during the winters of about 3 months or something, you would have snowfall in even Allahabad and Varanasi and Lucknow and all those cities in Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Bihar, etc. Sab hoda agar if you did not have the Himalayas. So you need to kind of salute the Himalayas for that great natural barrier that it is there, right? India would become a cold desert, and they also ensure that the southwest monsoon winds which blow from the Arabian Sea, they pass northwards. Okay, they also ensure that the southwest monsoon winds rain in India and not pass northwards. ऐसा ना हो कि वो करके बाहर निकल जाए, kind of thing. We will not have the retreating monsoon in that case, right? So they ensure that India gets a proper good monsoon. The second one is the monsoon winds. The monsoon winds during the summer, southwesterly winds blow from the Arabian Sea, right? I hope you have bought the map, because the map is an important component of your geography syllabus. आपको map देख के समझना होगा. Okay, so please ensure that you have a map in your study room. Very important. So जो Arabian Sea है, that is along the Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala coast, वहां से जो southwesterly monsoon winds आते हैं, हम आगे की वीडियो में और डिटेल में देखेंगे. They rain into the Indian subcontinent, and by September they start retreating. Okay, वापस आने लग जाते हैं. तो तब भी वापस आते वक्त भी इंडिया में बारिश होती है. And then you have the other northeast monsoon winds which come in the Bay of Bengal, and they pick up moisture from the Bay of Bengal and bring rain to Tamil Nadu in the month of November and December, जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया. You could get a question like, why is Tibet, which of course is not part of India, Dalai Lama's Tibet, why is Tibet dry? Because it falls in the rain shadow of the Himalayas. Because the rain winds don't pass through the Himalayas, it acts as a barrier. So Tibet जो उस तरफ पड़ता है, वहां पर बारिश नहीं होती है, because it falls in the rain shadow of the Himalayan mountains. Then there is the Tropic of Cancer effect, right? The Tropic of Cancer, it runs through India. You would have seen the dots which run through India, the Tropic of Cancer. And North India is in the temperate zone and has cold winter season and a very hot summer. Those of you living in North India would know that. South India is in the tropical zone. Upar temperate, niche tropical, and therefore South Indian states like Tamil Nadu, Kerala do not really have a winter. Both kam thand padti hai. I mean, those of us here in South India don't even use heavy jackets or anything to protect ourselves in the winter. एक half sweater ho jaye काफी है. It doesn't get very cold. Okay, and the weather is warmer than the North Indian states during the months of November, December, January and February. In fact, February mid तक तो यहाँ पर summer शुरू हो जाता है South India में. North zone does not have any midday sun vertically overhead anytime, but South zone has it twice every year. What is the midday sun? मैंने उसके बारे में लिखा है. When the rays of the sun जब सूरज की रोशनी, जब सूरज की जो किरणें हैं, रेज, दे फॉल डायरेक्टली ऑन ए लाइन ऑफ लॉन्गिट्यूड. एट द सेम पॉइंट ऑन दैट लॉन्गिट्यूड the rays of the sun are vertical like this. They are vertical. That is what is known as the midday sun of that location. And why is the midday sun seen overhead in Chennai twice a year but not even once in Delhi? This is again an important question, because Chennai is closer to the equator than Delhi, and as a result it receives more amount of sunlight as compared to Delhi. Then finally the next point is varied relief. Now इसमें आपको relief का मतलब समझना है. Relief in geography is not the same as relief in English. Relief in geography means the terrain of the earth. जो the kind of different features which are on the earth is known as relief. Okay. And varied relief means terrain or topography which is not even. You know, यहाँ पर पहाड़ है, यहाँ पर नदियाँ हैं, यहाँ पर झरने हैं, यहाँ पर ocean hai, so the terrain is uneven. That's why it's called varied relief, and it is because of this varied relief that different regions have different climates. So this particular point factor is extremely important. This is the reason why you do not have, why Rajasthan is a desert, why it does not rain, because you have the presence of the Aravalli mountains at a particular angle. So the varied relief is an extremely important factor which affects the climate of India. इस बात को आप समझ लीजिए. This is a very important reason. These two are important. This one is again very important. Okay. In my notes I have written down a lot of questions, so please keep looking at the notes also. Okay. Once we finish with the particular video, explanation video. Altitude is the height of an object in relation to the sea level or the ground level, right? That's again another area, another reason why you have which is a factor which affects the climate of India. और इसमें भी आपको सीधा definition नहीं पूछा जाएगा, आपको examples देके. For example, why does Ooty report lower temperature than Coimbatore? Because अगर आपको ऊटी जाना हो तो आप कोयम्बतूर पे लैंड करते हैं, कोयम्बतूर का एयरपोर्ट है या रेलवे स्टेशन है, फिर वहां से आप ऊपर चढ़ के ऊटी जाते हैं. लेकिन कोयम्बतूर हैज अ वार्म क्लाइमेट, whereas ऊटी हैज अ कूल क्लाइमेट. भला क्यों? Because there is a decrease of 1 degree Celsius for every 166 meter rise in altitude, which is why altitude is an important factor that affects the climate of India. Okay, इस तरह से आपको आंसर लिखना है. जिस तरह से आंसर लिखना है वो भी मैंने लिख दिया है. आप उस आंसर को देख लीजिए और उसी तरह से लिखिए. आपके 2 out of 2 मार्क्स ऐसे क्वेश्चन में जरूर मिल जाएंगे. Okay, then you also have the influence of the seas, which we have already spoken about, the Arabian Sea, the Bay of Bengal and the Indian Ocean. They act as a major source of humidity, moisture to the Indian subcontinent. They bring the summer monsoons, they also bring heavy rainfall to the entire area. And because the Kerala coast, Tamil Nadu coast, Orissa coast, Andhra coast, everything is Karnataka coast, they are all close to the sea, they have a more humid kind of climate, right? It's a bit of a climate where it does not get very hot. There is a slightly cooling effect of the sea, but it also, because of the salty nature of the sea, it brings a lot of moisture and there is a lot of humidity. Pasina ज़्यादा आता है. It has a moderate climate. Okay, that is again very important. Then the next factor is western disturbances. Now western disturbances this is basically the distribution pattern of pressure in Central and West Asia. That is the kind of effect that you see, weather patterns you see in Central Asia and West Asia. उसकी वजह से especially in North India में काफी फर्क पड़ता है. It influences the weather, the climate in North Indian states. Okay, which is why you see North Indian plains see rain and snowfall in Kashmir in winter, right? Why does it happen? Because the westerly winds blow from outside of India into Kashmir, into states like Punjab. Okay, so they bring rainfall during the winter in states like Kashmir and Punjab. Okay, then you have something called the jet streams. Now what are jet streams? Now they are cold, fast blowing winds. और jet streams का definition भी पूछा जा सकता है. So please do pay attention. They are cold, fast blowing winds that develop in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Okay, altitude of 20,000 to 50,000 feet, so really high, and they influence India's climate. So you have something called the westerly jet streams. You also have the easterly jet streams. Okay, both of which affect the climate of India. The westerly jet streams bring rain to the northern plains in the months of winter, as I just explained, Kashmir and Punjab in particular. And the easterly jet streams, it steers the tropical depression over India, and it plays, during the summer monsoon, it plays an important role in determining ki kis tarah ka kitna intensity hoga of the monsoon in India. Okay, so that's very important, and it also brings rain to the northeasterly states in June. So the वेस्टर्ली दिस थिंग, सो आप एक टेबल पे वेस्टर्ली का ये इफेक्ट होता है, कहां से ओरिजिनेट होता है, कहां पे आता है, ईस्टर्ली जेट स्ट्रीम्स, दिस व्हाट इट डज, यू जस्ट राइट इट एवरीथिंग. Geography में tabular kind of things will always work. So once you have understood it, the idea of these videos is to make you understand. Notes is to kind of help you revise, and then you make short notes for you to do further revision in your own language, because when you write the notes, short notes in your own handwriting, it will really help. But once you have looked through our notes, SWS notes, trust me, you do not have to look at any book, any notes anywhere. जरूरत नहीं है, everything is there, because the notes are taken from as many as 4 different kinds of books and sources and Google. Okay, so there is a vast research which has gone into it, so you do not have to kind of look at any other books after that. Okay, finally we come to the El Nino effect. Now what is the El Nino effect? El Nino effect is a warm ocean current that appears off the Peru coast, so we are talking of South America, in December. Okay, it increases the surface temperature of the sea and affects the movement of the monsoon winds, because the sea is continuous, right? The mass of land is, countries alag-alag hain, they are geographical boundaries, but the sea is continuous, so it affects the movement of the monsoon winds in the Indian Ocean, and it can lead even to a drought like situation. तो कितना monsoon होगा, नहीं होगा, ज़्यादा होगा, कम होगा, उसके लिए भी ये एल नीनो का इफेक्ट कम्स इनटू प्ले. सो इट इज अ वार्म ओशन करंट दैट डेवलप्स वे ऑफ इन साउथ अमेरिका ऑफ द पेरू कोस्ट. सो दैट्स आल्सो अ फैक्टर, बट the important factors are the ones that you need to remember: the Himalayas, the ocean, the varied relief, etc. These are important. The influence of the seas, etc. are the ones which are really important, जिस पर आपको ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. We will pause video 1 out here. I hope you have understood till now. It's clear. Now we will get into each one of the different kinds of monsoon types, and then you would be able to understand it better in more detail. But yes, what is important is that you need to understand why, what kind of place has what kind of climate and weather. This is something very important which I hope you have understood so far. So now I will see you in video number 2. Tata, bye bye.